TinkerCAD tips. I wanted to share with you a design that I had been working on here recently. It's sort of a flower pot, a planter of sorts, with a weave pattern. You can see inside I have some drainage holes in the bottom, and it has this weave pattern to it. Now I'm sure many of you have encountered this when you're working with a lot of objects or parts of something that you're working on that are made out of spheres or cylinders. TinkerCAD can begin to lag a little bit, and as I was working on this, I discovered some ways that would help improve some of those issues and make this a little bit quicker to put together and to be able to group it in the end. So let me show you what I did here. We'll start a new project. Okay, here we are in a new project in TinkerCAD, and I've called this one Woven Planter. So let me show you how I started making this. I started with the torus here, and I brought that out. And I'm going to make this, say, 3 millimeters high. And then in order to fill this in and to keep this outer roundness to it, you see there, I'm going to bring in just a cylinder here. Let's bring this down a bit. Bring this over. Let's go ahead and align the two of those. Whoops, in both directions. Okay, now I'm going to grab this cylinder and holding Alt and Shift, I'm going to scale this down to where it's at about, let's change our snap grid here. Let's make that off. Allows for the highest level of granularity here. We'll scale this down just a wee bit to about there. Let's also make that 3 millimeters so that they're both the same height. Let's go ahead and group the two of those together. Well, we need to bring that cylinder in a bit more here. Work with me here. There we go. That should be good about there. Group the two of those together. Let's change it to yellow, something a little bit easier to see. All right, so now I'm going to create the circumference of the planter. So I'm going to bring this one out here. Let's go ahead and stretch this one out just a little bit in this direction. Make it a little flatter that way. Let's make a duplicate of that. Let's put our snap grid back to 1 millimeter, and I'm going to shift nudge one to the other side. There we go. I'm going to shift select this other one. I'm going to click duplicate. Whoops. Let's do that again. Click this one, duplicate. I'm going to click here. I'm going to make this 10 degrees. There we go. And I'm going to continue to hit Control D until we go all the way around. There we go. Now what I'm going to do before I group all these together is I don't want to have to support all of that round shape that is on the inside of this. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out another whole cylinder here. Let's go ahead and drop that in the middle. Well, before we do that, we are going to have to group these together. Let's make this one unit. Group that together. Now that that's grouped, let's bring that cylinder back out. We'll hit Control A. Let's do a quick alignment so that that cylinder's in the middle. Now I'm going to grab that cylinder, I'm going to drag down the top a little bit, but now I'm going to hold Alt and Shift, and I'm going to bring this out until we're cutting off quite a bit of that yellow object. Bring this down. Let's go ahead and bring this back to off. Bring that out just a little bit more. There we go. Bring that up. Now I want to make sure that I cut all the way through, so I'm going to drag this down just a bit. Control A to select all. Let's group that together. And once it's grouped, it'll look like this. Now if I simply start stacking these up, because this ring is actually made of all of those parts I've grouped together, TinkerCAD will begin lagging. Now this is where the magic happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this object to create a shape up here in your creations. I've selected my shape. I'm going to click on Create Shape here. Up here I'm going to name it. So we're going to say planter ring. Once it brings in the image of that shape, then go ahead and click on Save Shape over here. And you're going to have to give it a few moments, and eventually that new shape will appear up here in your list of your creations. There we go. Now it's appeared over here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump out of this project and start another one. So I'm going to exit this. On my home screen here in TinkerCAD, I'm going to click Create, 3D Design. And here we are. Let's rename it. We'll call it Woven Planter 2. Now I'm going to come over here to this drop down. I'm going to click on Your Creations. Here's our ring shape here. We're going to bring that out. There we go. Now we're going to have to come back over here. Let's go back to basic shapes. Now one thing we're going to have to do is put a bottom on this. So I'm going to stop where I'm at here. I will continue this in the next part. We're going to put a bottom on this, and then we're going to create duplicates of this. But as we create the duplicates, we'll have them get slightly larger so that it's sort of a conical shape. So, like, follow, and share. Hope you enjoyed what you're seeing here. Go ahead and follow me for part 2.